The latest in the Congo line of coronavirus infections connected to the White House is Donald Trump's own press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. We just saw a video of Rudy Giuliani unable to stop coughing during a Fox News interview. He is waiting on his latest test results for coronavirus. We may have gotten those results by the time you watch that clip or this clip. But someone who did test positive is White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, and two of her deputies have tested positive for the coronavirus as well, as Donald Trump has now left Walter Reed Medical Center, presumably still contagious. First Lady Melania Trump remains in isolation with coronavirus. She reportedly doesn't want to spread it to the Secret Service agents who she would be exposing if she were to try to go anywhere. Kayleigh McEnany putting out a statement via Twitter, which says, quote, after testing negative consistently, including every day since Thursday. It's funny how they always say that. Like, listen, everybody who gets coronavirus would have tested negative for a long time until they test positive. Okay. After testing negative consistently, including every day since Thursday, I tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday morning while experiencing no symptoms. No reporters, producers, or members of the press are listed as close contacts by the White House medical unit. Moreover, I definitively had no knowledge of Hope Hicks's diagnosis prior to holding a White House press briefing on Thursday. As an essential worker, I have worked diligently to provide needed information to the American people at this time. That's funny. The idea that her lies are essential. With my recent positive test, I will begin the quarantine process and will continue working on behalf of the American people remotely. Now, this is a picture of her just days ago briefing a gaggle of reporters without a mask on, and it simply continues to spread at the White House. She was criticized for briefing reporters without a mask hours after Donald Trump tested positive. The defenders came out and said they were socially distant. She took the mask off only when she was not near reporters. Well, for the entire week during which she was likely contagious, or part of that week, she wasn't wearing a mask at all. The mask started later on in the week. We, of course, have numerous others connected to Trump who have tested positive. At this point, it's hard to even keep track, but it includes Trump's own campaign manager, Bill Stepien, Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway, and Kellyanne Conway's daughter, Claudia Conway, have tested positive. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie tested positive. 3 Republican senators I mentioned yesterday, Mike Lee of Utah, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who's up against it. He may be about to get beaten badly by Cal Cunningham in North Carolina. Wisconsin Republican Ron Johnson, Nick Luna, who's a personal assistant to Donald Trump. The University of Notre Dame president John Jenkins tested positive. He was at the Amy Coney Barrett event, not this past Saturday, but the previous one at the White House, which does appear to be a super spreader event. At least 3 journalists who were at the White House over the last week have now tested positive, according to the White House Correspondents Association. Remember when Kayleigh McEnany said on Fox News back in February the following?
Absolutely. This president will always put America first. He will always protect American citizens. We will not see diseases like the coronavirus come here. We will not see terrorism come here. And isn't that refreshing when contrasting it with the awful presidency of President Obama?
Kayleigh McEnany, thank you so much. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.
So that was a ridiculous thing to say then. And it's even more ridiculous to say it now that Donald Trump has it. And she now has tested positive. It is the fascinatingly dystopian secondary story. So you've got, how has this administration handled coronavirus? That's a primary story. It's immoral, it's disgusting, and it's infuriating. How they handle it when they themselves get the virus is arguably more absurd, although not connected to as many deaths. Because remember that this either began or was exacerbated by a party in the Rose Garden, as well as inside the White House, where hundreds of people sat shoulder to shoulder without masks, hugging, talking inches from each other's faces. Kayleigh, along with numerous other people like William Barr, have continued to make public appearances with no masks, knowing they were exposed to people that tested positive. No contact tracing has been done. We learned that Joe Biden's campaign was not contacted as people started testing positive, including Trump, to say, hey, this happened. Isolate, test, quarantine, whatever you need to do. They've been deceptive about the timelines. It has been asked now nearly a dozen times, when did Donald Trump last test negative? They won't tell us, directly implying that Trump either knew or suspected he was contagious during the debate with Joe Biden, that their claim on the honor system that that Trump tested negative on the day of the debate, he probably wasn't tested at all. And so aside from never doing that crazy Amy Coney Barrett event at the White House, everybody here involved should have immediately self-isolated for 14 days when Hope Hicks got sick. That alone would have reduced the transmission, but they either don't care or are unwilling to do the right thing for other people. It is stunning. They deserve a historic loss in November, not only for their personal irresponsibility as leaders, but because they've overseen one of the worst responses in the world to the virus, which is now surging again in many states. One of our sponsors today is Vincero Watches, and they're giving you up to 30% off everything in their store when you go to davidpakman.com/watch. If you're looking for an awesome way to update your look, the perfect way to do it is with an elegant, high-quality wristwatch. When there's a company like Vincero, there is no reason to go spending thousands of dollars on a watch. Vincero is an American company that's made it possible to own an excellent watch without breaking the bank. All of their watches are masterfully built with high-end materials, but they're all in the range of about $150 to $250. I just got a watch from their Icon Automatic collection. The one I got is in gunmetal and slate blue. I love the look. It's sleek, classy. It's clear that a lot of careful craftsmanship went into the design. It is definitely my new favorite watch. You'll get up to 30% off everything in their store when you go to davidpakman.com/watch. I've put the link right underneath this video.